start off with the solicitor going over the rules for public comments.
Thank you. You can make public comments if you are a resident of the township or if you're a township taxpayer. Please raise your hand until you are recognized. You have 3 minutes to make your comments. Once you have 15 seconds left, I'll ask you to complete your comments. For your comments, please come up to the mic, take a seat, and state your name and address. If you're making a comment on the agenda action item, these are items that the board is taking official action on. Please state the agenda item. Turn on the mic, face the board, and make your comments. Please understand that this is not a debate session, and this is not a place for abusive language or profanity. It's for comments. We ask the audience to refrain from crying out or being disruptive, and we'll ask you to leave if you refuse to follow the stated conduct or disrupt the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. On your agenda tonight for commissioners, if you look down at old business C, that one, we're not doing that tonight. And new business F will be moving up in the lineup here momentarily, which is the appointment piece. So we'll start off with the, first of all, are there any public comments on agenda items? Seeing none. Approval of the minutes in your packet, you have the minutes. I'll need a motion on those.
Make the motion that we approve the minutes dated December 16th, 2024 as written. I didn't see any corrections.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Here in a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Moving to payment of bills, in your packet also, you have the bill list. Need a motion on the bills.
I'll make that motion, pay the bills in order of $260,526.17.
Need a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion?
I have a question. On the first page, we have 3 charges to Montgomery County Conservation District, the MCCD Clean Water Fund, and the Commonwealth of PA Clean Water Fund. What address is this? Because it's for the municipal complex. What address is this?
So any of those questions on bill list, you're gonna have to defer to the township manager. She's out tonight. Did you send us something to her already?
No, I haven't.
If you would, please, go ahead and send her questions. The township manager will be out tonight. She'll be back in, hopefully soon.
Okay, then I do have a comment just for the public, and they have the bill list if they picked one up. We have another $9,000 retainer for Dilworth Paxson for the defamation suit.
Other comments? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Nay.
Nay, 3-2.
That's the bill. Bill list. Once we get, right, we got a little bit of shift in here, we're gonna bring the appointments up. Before that, I do have a question. We just had an injunction hearing not too long ago, and, we had unanimous support of that after we gave the authority to the solicitor to move forward. They had public announcements saying it wasn't public. I know we had 6 people here that heard the same thing, and we had the solicitor's memorandum. Kathy, are you saying that you did not support that?
Yes, I am.
Why didn't you say that in the meeting?
I do. I may not have said anything in the meeting.
I asked 3 or 4
Well,
times.
it was September.
I asked 3 or 4 times, and Michelle got up and congratulated you both for supporting her on that. You both shook her hand.
Supporting her on that?
Yes,
I
because she's the one that's doing
yeah.
all the right to know requests.
No.
Yes, we have those
Well, you know
documents.
what, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that, I think.
It's documented. You guys,
How is it
I think is what happened is your handlers found out about that, and you had to quickly do untruths.
Are who?
Is he?
Our handlers? Who
Yep.
are handlers?
So, if we continue on now,
Okay, that's on record.
yeah, it is.
Wow.
Are you looking at your handlers, or what are you looking at?
We're all looking at you, sir.
Oh, well, ma'am, you got a warning.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
Got it, sir.
Trace, we had to, as a body, address the drain on public funds. I mean, I was in that meeting, I mean, I did the press release on it, I was thinking, let's just get the information out there before the misinformation starts flowing again. And we all agreed that we had to stop the drain, because I think the banner number in there was $55,000, and realistically, it was much more. And we always gotta be conscious of that. We did not prevail on that. We were told going into that, the injunctions are kind of a high bar, but we're gonna pursue it at the next level, cause we have to.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
If we're gonna pursue it at the next level, how is that being mindful of the budget, and how much money we're spending?
Well, sometimes you gotta spend money to save money.
I don't see us saving any money, not when we spent over $1 million on, an issue that was in litigation. I don't see that, and that's my problem.
What issue?
Smola.
Well, we spent over $1 million because we all agreed to spend money. I mean,
Listen.
when you build something, it costs money, and this is what we're doing. It's gonna, these
But
bills,
we were told not to spend any money or not to disturb any land until the litigation was finished, albeit it was by the previous special counsel. That's what we were told. And we were all at that meeting. And that was a long time ago. I do remember that, but I do remember that. And these permits, I mean, I can only think that they're on Gilbertsville Road. When did we agree that it's gonna go there?
we haven't agreed to anything yet. We are still, I know there was a question asked, and I asked Trace, maybe I should have addressed this. There was a lot of flags on that lot, you know. Cause we're evaluating if we can put it there, if that is an option.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this without going into great detail. I mean, Dave and I met up there, we found a problem with the lot across the street, I think it was pretty obvious. But there's some surprises up at that property. I was surprised how, even our engineer was surprised at some of the obstacles we gotta overcome. We don't know where we're gonna put it yet. I have my suspicions, we're gonna go through the appeal, I think we should prevail on that. But if we don't, we have to have a backup plan, because the bottom line is the bottom line, we've gotta put a new building up.
I agree.
Okay, well, there,
But it's like we're just kind of like, I don't see a plan. I don't see like, we're just kind of like spending money for a what if?
well,
And moving forward with the appeal, I mean,
I've spent,
that's my comment.
I spend 30 hours a week on this project, and we've made mistakes. You know, and the biggest mistake, well, I guess it was a mistake. We should have hired a project manager a year ago, because we missed some things that were kinda obvious. But we're working as hard as we can to get this done, and get it done as close to budget as we can. You know, I don't know where it's gonna go at this point, but it's gonna go somewhere, it has to, cause if it dies now, I can't see anybody else taking this much BS from the public about this. You know, the hatred out there is unbelievable. But that's okay.
Mistrust.
What's that?
It's mistrust,
It's
not
mistrust.
hatred.
You know, well,
You have your second warning.
He asked
We're gonna-
me,
We're, we get a second warning.
he asked me, sir.
Continue.
we're doing the best we can. You are going to see, hopefully, completed plans soon. They are way overdue. But we missed stuff, okay? We missed stuff. And then Gilbertsville property, whoever, I mean, Upper Foxgrove's got a unique geological feature. On top of all our mountains are wetlands. I just don't understand how that works. But there's wetlands up there. I live on top of a hill. There's wetlands behind my house. I don't know how it works. But we'll make this work. But, you know, if we're gonna agree to disagree, then we'll just move on and build it. And you can say, I'm never gonna step in that new building. But we need it, okay? I walked in that police station the other day just to drop off something. I'm like, this is horrible. This room's okay. I mean, this is $1 million worth of renovation right here. That's a crime. That was a crime, whoever did that. We're doing the best we can. You can disagree, this 7 months in a row you disagree with the bill list. I don't, why do we even vote on it? It's a 3-2 vote all the time anyways. I'll stop rambling, Trace, but we're doing the best we can with what we have.
The main effort was to save money by using our own ground. So we had 338 acres total out there with a mixture of funds, before anybody on this board was present, which one of the reasons why we didn't win the case right now. There's currently gonna be moving on appeal, but it was to save over $500,000 we had to spend just for the ground right now, given the flex that we have with that. With that said, we'll continue on. What I wanna do is go down to new business F. In your, right in front of you, you have, and these are emailed out to you, the January 2025 slate or schedule. And on that schedule, each one, we'll go over here, there's 3 of them that we went through, and the chairs of each one of these committees talked to their appropriate folks that whether they wanted to serve or not, and these are volunteers. And we thank them for being part of this. They shouldn't be subject to any type of abuse or anything like that, and they are a great service to the community. So we're gonna do 2 of these, and then Eric's gonna talk a little bit about the zoning hearing board, which has to be resolution, then we'll move on to the new committee, which is the planning commission. So starting off, if you look on open space and rec, Mr. Chuck Note, he's 1, 2, 3, 4th one down on that one. His new term would be 4 years, and that went in 2029. And if you go over to page 3, the vacancy board, that's Mr. Stockman, and that, his term is for 1 year, and that will end January 26th. So I'll need a motion for both those for reappointment.
I'll make that motion.
Hearing a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
Just to be clear, we're not doing civil service?
No, so there's no reappointments for civil service.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, I second.
Just those 2.
I'm good, thank you.
So is the motion traced for both of those?
Yes, for
Mr.
both.
Stockman and?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. If you look at zoning hearing board, that has to be by resolution, that's Mr. Bill Hewitt. Eric, you wanna add?
Yep, so I have a resolution prepared. It does appoint Bill Hewitt for a 3-year term. I have it expiring December 31st of 2027. However, it will run until the January meeting when you do the reappointment in 2028. So it is consistent with what you have on your chart.
Okay, I'll need a nomination for Mr. Hewitt. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the motions.
Who motioned and who seconded?
I second.
Who did the motion? Dave.
Dave and Michael, okay.
Good to go,
Sorry.
Gene?
I was talking to Jeannie when she needed to take notes. I apologize.
Okay, so that takes the reappointments up. If you look on page 2, we're standing up the planning commission. So you see on there, the planning commission, when for NPC, Mr. Planning Code, asked us to scatter out the terms on this. It's generally a 4-year term. This is the first iteration, so there's 2 people for 4 years, 2 people for 3 years, 1 person for 2 years. So we've been working on this since, for about 4 months, preparing it, advertising, knowing that we needed to do this and get that out. So, Kathy, you sent a note that today you're gonna nominate Mr. Taylor and Mr., is it Fred?
Cornelius.
Okay,
They actually sent me their resumes, which were pretty, lengthy in what experience they had. And, I understand Mr. Taylor sent one to Michelle, and Mr. Amelia sent his resume to all 5 commissioners.
okay. So you're nominating those guys?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Any other nomination? First of all, is there a second for those 2?
I'll
Sure.
second that.
Your second of Mr. Taylor and Mr. Ramirez, Dave?
Yes.
Other nominations?
I have 5.
Go ahead.
Mr. Earl Wagner, he's an electrician. Mr. Chris Mullen, he's a business owner, does reservations. Mr. Wayne Weaver, he's a manager and a current member of the PMRPC, Pottstown Metro and Mr. Matt Hartzell, public school teacher, and our archery coordinator. And Manny Cartagena, he's a paramedic lieutenant with the Philadelphia Fire Department and also a president of a local homeowners association.
Okay, any more nominations? Nominations closed for planning commission. We'll vote on these.
You took a second for the first one.
Was there a second for all those presented?
I'll second that slate of officers.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, we will go through these. All those in favor of Mr. Taylor, say aye.
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 Against? No.
No, do we have any discussion on these, or is it just a yes and no?
If you have one.
I was confused about Mr. Taylor. I got your nomination today, and appreciate your email today. I thought the one thing that I thought we all agree on, and probably everybody in the audience, is we are really conscious of overdevelopment. And he was very instrumental with this whole Coomer Road area. Our friends at Summer Grove, they were here day one saying, listen, you guys gotta curtail this, but by putting him on the planning commission, I went to disqualifiers first. I disqualified him when you sent that. I was surprised that you sent that. Matter of fact, I was very surprised. I just can't reconcile why, because you were very instrumental in getting rid of him off the planning commission, or shutting down the planning commission. And I'm just, what changed? That's all I need to know. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna change my vote, but I'm willing to listen.
Well, I wasn't aware that we were just gonna be able to nominate people. I thought it was gonna be a better idea to have resumes so we could see exactly what they're bringing to the table and how much they know about planning. Because we're setting 5 new people. And it's not like we're rotating a board member that the new people who come in kind of like count on the seasoned people to help them understand how everything works. Yes, I did vote to disband the planning commission, and in looking back, that may be one vote that I'm not too proud of, looking back at everything that's going on now. Yes, I said Mr. Taylor would be a controversial pick, but he approved that development sitting as a commissioner, not just on the planning commission.
I agree.
And we do not have to, which is obvious, we take their recommendations, but we don't have to enact them, because we're the people who vote on what goes through and what doesn't. I was just looking at his experience, all in all. And being that I only received 2 resumes and I wasn't aware of just nominating someone, I talked to both of them. They wanted to be nominated, and I said, well, if I don't have anybody else to nominate, I surely will. I mean, I don't know if that's
Sure.
And again, please excuse me, Mr. President, you know, I was trying to reflect on this final year. What are the biggest threats to Upper Potts Grove? What are the biggest problems we are dealing with? You know, something else, a lot of the stuff in our packets, you know, it's easy stuff. The biggest threat is overdevelopment. Trace and I had a meeting, I know Eric may cringe, but I'm not gonna mention names. We had a meeting with a developer a couple weeks ago. He mentioned putting 5 high-density housing projects. He wanted, every square inch of Upper Potts Grove is gonna wanna be developed on. One of the things on the agenda, we're gonna have a presentation. Now, that's on the edge of town, that may or may not be appropriate, but we've gotta be very careful. Our supporters and our taxpayers, while we do have differences of opinion on everything, overdevelopment is pretty much a common thread through this community. We wanna keep it like this. I'm not saying you can't develop. We can do what we learned the term buy right is. But approving 400 units down in that valley, how are they ever gonna get these people out on the traffic? But I just have to question, I met with Mr. Taylor, one time, very smart guy. I actually like talking to him. But I'm sorry, the common thread through the 5 on here, we talked about overdevelopment, and they're all on the same thoughts. I like independent thinkers. But, we just gotta be very cognizant of that as a township, and whoever takes these seats in future years has gotta understand, cause and all it takes is one weak board of commissioners, and you get projects like that down there. And you guys fixed it. And I give you 3 of you, full credit for fixing that problem down there. I just don't wanna open up another can of worms, that's all.
Well, number one, I'm glad you got to talk to a developer. I have no idea what you're talking about. And
You
who it
requested a
was.
meeting.
Okay. And number two, I'm really happy you got to talk to all these people about the appointments, because that's what I was also hoping to do, is talk to them about the appointments and what they wanted to bring to the table. So,
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry to take
And
so
since
much
you're
time.
on that, if you remember, Mr. Taylor did vote for those projects we have in court with Valley Artesian. It's just like Don mentioned, the 400 houses going in, that we're continuing to fight that piece. And also, you remember, you sued the township as well. And what did you recorded a note on that? No on Taylor, right?
I don't know how we're doing, but no on Taylor, yes.
Okay, so we 3-2, did I get that correct?
Two. Thank you. So I had 2 and 2, and then we were just waiting for
Okay, all right, that nomination fails. Moving on to Mr. Berlins. Is there a motion on that? You did make the motion?
Mr. Emilius?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just 4, yes.
All right, who's, for that nomination?
I'll make a motion for Mr.
It's
Emilius.
just voting now.
Oh, we're just voting.
Nominations were done, so now we're just we're voting for them
Gotcha.
in order, so just,
Gotcha.
who's voting for Mr. Romelius, right?
Aye.
Two ayes. Against? No.
No.
That nomination fails. Moving on to, Mr. Wagner for a 4-year term. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Nay.
Aye.
3-4, 3-1. Mr. Mullen?
4-1.
I'm sorry, 4-1. Mr. Mullen, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? 5, okay. Mr. Weaver, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? 5. Mr. Hustle, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Against?
Nay.
And Mr. Cartagena,
Just before, Dave, was it 4-1?
Yeah.
4-1 on that one. Just trying to keep Jeannie straight, so
Mhm.
she's multitasking
Thank you,
here,
Eric.
so, yeah.
Mr. Cartagena, aye. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Nay.
4-1.
4-1.
Question, Mr. President, when do they start? Do we start
We're
immediately?
gonna look to start them in a March timeframe, looking at the 1st of March. Get them some informational, possibly some courses too. We had a nice recommendation from one of our chairs, they thought that would be a good idea.
Can we start to talk to them about projects ourselves, or do we not?
You can talk to them, but officially standing up, we're gonna look for a good date for that.
And do they have the use of the legal counsel?
They will have it, and that would establish which, and that'll be for them helping decide who they want for their solicitor going in. Usually the default will be a solicitor, but we also have, Ms. Devon to help out as well.
So actually Devin can't, she's zoning hearing board, so she's not supposed to do.
Oh, she can't do that.
So, I'm not saying it has to be me, it can be a third party, but it shouldn't be Devin.
Okay. And then they'll be getting engineer support as well on that. Thank you to all our volunteers, this is a long list, it takes a long time to recruit these folks to go out. And again, it's all volunteer, they do a great job, and we appreciate that very much. So we'll send those notes out, and that completes for 2025. You'll see the ones that are deaf, and you can see the ones that are at will on this 2 at will simply means that, if there's a reason to remove, we can certainly do that. Okay,